Hey guys, Cam here from 9 to 5 Google, and in 2015 Samsung changed its approach to smartphones. Instead of just packing in the most powerful components into a hideous plastic shell, the company actually gave a damn about design for once. It delivered the stunning glass and metal S6 and S6 Edge, but compromised maybe a little bit too much in some aspects, most notably the battery. This year, the manufacturer took what was great about last year's phones and improved on the compromises. And what that means is that this year, the S7 Edge is easily one of the best phones on the market. When it comes to aesthetics, sensibly designed products, or even following the standards of the symmetry obsessed, Samsung has been an easy target in the past. But not this year, especially not with the Galaxy S7 Edge. There are glass curves from the sides all the way up to the top and down to the bottom. The front glass panel looks like one seamless, gleaming, rounded rectangle. It's stunning. Add this to the curves on the back panel and you have a phone which looks fantastic and feels great in hand. And thanks to the curves, the phone is ridiculously narrow for a device with a 5.5-inch screen. It can comfortably hide under a number of 5-inch smartphones and makes the iPhone 6 or 6S Plus look like a brontosaurus. Perhaps what I like most is Samsung's restraint this year with colouring. Last year we saw a number of brightly coloured brash phones with hideous shiny trim and a pearlescent glimmer. This year the black model has a much less ostentatious finish. The silver chrome is replaced by a smoky trim and the pearlescent look is toned down a lot. As a bonus, it also happens to be water and dust resistant too. With its vivid colours and high pixel density, the 5.5-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED panel on the S7 Edge is eye-catching to say the least. With its curved edges on both sides and the visual effect of watching content curl around them, it's certainly visually appealing. While it is impressive, the display isn't perfect. As you'd expect, colours do change a little bit when looking at it from a different angle, especially on the rounded parts on either side. Another small issue caused by the curved edges is that content wraps around them and means you don't see the entire shot when watching movies or gaming. It's not a big deal, and the content which ends up being trimmed is normally unimportant, but it is noticeable. Still, the sharpness and the brightness and the colours on the display are fantastic. Moving on to camera, and in a non-Samsung-like move, Sammy opted to drop the pixel count this year in favour of better optics on the main camera, and the result is really good. Still images are crisp and sharp in daylight, and the automatic mode does a great job of adjusting for light conditions to deliver well-balanced photos. For those who want a bit more control, there's also a Pro mode, which lets you manually adjust focus, ISO sensitivity, shutter speed, and white balance. That means you can also take great low-light shots and can even capture stars in the sky at night if you use a long exposure. And if you want to, you can save images in RAW format so you don't lose any detail. With performance, it's no exaggeration to say that I've never had an Android smartphone without at least one quirk. Whether that's a barely perceptible stuttering or frame dropping in transitions, or whether it's gaming not quite loading as fast. But with the S7 Edge I've experienced none whatsoever. It's really fast and smooth, and benchmarks performed using Antutu reveal that this is easily one of the most powerful devices around. And that performance translates to great real-life experience as well. Being in Europe, I have the octa-core Exynos 8890 equipped S7 Edge and not the quad-core Snapdragon 820 version. That means I have 8 cores and 4GB of RAM to play with, and it deals with all kinds of tasks with consummate ease and copes as well with mundane app switching as it does with graphically intense gaming. Now, while I'd be foolish to claim that the S7 Edge has the best battery performance around, it still does really well in day-to-day use. Thanks to it being a capacious 3600 mAh cell, and with Android Marshmallow's doze mode in tow, I've managed to get the phone through 2 full days with medium to light usage. Even on days where I know I've used the device more often than I would normally, and for more strenuous tasks than I would normally, the phone still made it to the end of the day with more than 20% charge left. What's more, because it has Quick Charge 2.0 support, it means I can charge it up fairly quickly too. But I'm still left wondering why Samsung didn't opt for the newer, much faster Quick Charge 3.0 standard. With a battery this size, that 45% faster charging performance would be a very welcome addition. Now, although I'm not a big fan of TouchWiz and the user interface on top of Android Marshmallow, there is one genuinely useful feature on the Samsung software side, and that's the always-on display. When locked, the phone can still show the time, date, battery capacity and notification icons on the screen without draining much power. What's more, you can customize the format and visible options as well as downloading third-party clocks from Samsung's App Store. You can switch it off in the settings if you want to, but I found that it uses so little battery, there's no real benefit to doing so unless you really hate it. Of course, there's also the bonus Edge panel built into the software on the Galaxy S7 Edge, and you can customize this, and there are panels for quick access to favorite contacts, apps, and actions. There's also a panel for weather and a toolkit featuring a ruler, a compass, and a torch with brightness controls. So as an overall package, the S7 Edge offers almost everything. It's a stunning phone which feels great, it's waterproof, has an almost 2-day battery, probably the best camera on the market, a great display, and fast performance. Any shortcomings are negligible. This is the best phone on the market right now. I've been Cam, I'm at Cam Bunton on Twitter. I will see you again soon.